not sure I would have up to 5 leaders. I'm not even sure I have up to 3 leaders. So the question is, how am I able to raise leaders across lengths? How am I able to raise multiple leaders across? Some of them I'm not interacting with them physically, yet they are emerging as leaders. How is that possible? Very simple key. If I even tell you the key, some of you will not even believe it. Say, no, that's not true. That cannot be it. That cannot be it. But that is it. That is it. That is it. How am I able to raise leaders on different legs? By taking my teammates to events and to retreats. That is my secret to doing what? To churning out leaders in numbers without having to expend so much energy, without having to spend so much individual time. I discovered that if I'm the only one who is going to be doing all the work of producing leaders, I will end up producing leaders, but it is going to take a very long time before I can produce the kind of leaders that look like me. All I did, my cheat code was to make sure anytime I hear that there's an event, anytime I hear that there's a retreat, do you know what I do? I will bundle all of my teammates. I will gather all of them. I will gather the people that I signed up, and the people that they signed up under, and the people that signed up under them, and the people that signed up under them. I will gather all of them, and I will bring them to a retreat. I will gather them. Come and dump them at a retreat. And I will leave them. And when they are in that retreat, they are going to hear something that I will never tell them in my life. They are going to learn something that I would never teach them. They are going to be exposed to an information, right? A body of information that probably for the rest of our lives in the business, I would never even interact with them to mention it to them. But because they are in a retreat, someone is talking to them. They are hearing somebody. And then guess what? That person that is under the person that is under the person that is under me, guess what? Because he or she came for that retreat, he will hear something, she will hear something, and he or she will make up his or her mind to take this business serious, to take this business to the ends of the earth, and the person decides to become a leader. I am not even aware. But what happens is that by the time we return back from the retreat, I will be seeing the results that that person is posting. Retreat is my cheat code to multiplying leaders. Can I say that to you? Retreat is your cheat code to multiplying leaders in your business. I was telling my people today earlier in the day, I told them something. I said, no matter what, if you call a meeting of all your teammates, you cannot gather up to 500 of all your teammates. You can't gather them on a normal visit. Right? It is only a retreat that gives you the opportunity to gather your teammates in hundreds. It's only a retreat. It's only during a retreat that you can gather your teammates up to 100. You can gather them up to 500. We are in this meeting today. It's just about 400 persons. The maximum that we connect today is 500. What does that mean? That no matter, you see, no matter how powerful the training I'm giving you people, no matter the trainings I am doing on Zoom, I cannot talk to more than 500 persons in a week. But guess what? A retreat gives me an opportunity to gather 4,000 teammates, to gather 5,000 teammates and talk to them at once. There are some of your teammates that will never attend a Zoom meeting, but they will come for a retreat. There are some of your teammates that will never attend a team meeting, but they will come for a retreat. There are some of your teammates that will never, ever attend your online meeting, but they will come for a retreat. A retreat provides you an opportunity to meet with more of your teammates at the same time and then expose them to a body of information. And what happens is that what? A transformation can take place. That is my cheat code. That's my best kept secret. So when I understood the power of events, when I understood the power of retreats, I made a covenant with myself that there is no place that a retreat is holding that I have the capacity to attend, that I will ever attend alone. My best kept secret is that I never attend a retreat alone. That's my best kept secret. Since I started this business till today, I have never for once attended a retreat alone. It's not possible. I have never attended a retreat alone. That's my best kept secret. Any retreat, any event that I'm aware of, that I have the opportunity to attend, I must attend with my generals. I must attend with my team. I must attend with multiples of my teammates. And guess what? As we were attending the retreat, as I was exposing them, I did not even know that some of them were making decisions to become leaders. And that is how leaders started emerging in my business. So many of them, I did not personally interact with them. I wish I am communicating this thing well. If you understand this thing, you will never see. Anytime you hear that there's a retreat, you will do everything. You see, some of you don't understand why when there's a retreat, we talk with so much passion. Some of you don't understand why when there's a retreat, we try to gather everybody we talk with. This is because we understand retreat is a leadership development factory. So since 2019 till today, I have been exposing my team, majority of my team, to multiples of retreat. And that is how I have been able to multiply leaders, multiple leaders on each leg, multiple leaders on each leg, multiple leaders on each leg. So this was our first retreat. The very first retreat I had the opportunity to attend. The very first retreat I had the opportunity to attend, I never attended it alone. I made sure that I came with people. When Dr. Bart told me to come, don't come alone. I listened to him. I gathered the people who I had at my disposal. Within the short notice that I had 48 hours short notice. I called each and every one of them. I did everything, and all of us attended the retreat together. When I was telling Asaden, I didn't even know the benefit of taking everybody in your team to a retreat. I didn't know the benefit. I didn't know. But I simply followed the instructions. I carried all of them to the retreat. And what? Just about two of these guys, or two or three different sets of these guys, are on what? Are on the same leg. Okay? So what you are seeing here is a representation of 1, 2, 3 legs. All right. So for my very first retreat, I took people across 3 of my legs. Right. I took teammates, right, across 3 of my legs. So 3 of my legs, my very first retreat, 3 of my legs were represented in a retreat. I took them to a retreat. 3 of my legs went for a retreat. And after that, I didn't even know what they heard. While I was in the retreat, I was trying to learn for myself, but I did not know that an impactation was happening to each and every one of them. I didn't know that something was going on in their minds. I didn't know that some of the words that were spoken in that retreat was actually piercing them, was actually reaching them, was actually transforming them, and they did not tell me. But in that retreat, they decided, they made certain decisions. They didn't even tell me before they made the decision. When we returned from that retreat, what I started seeing was the result of the decisions that they made. Can I ask you something? What if I decided to attend this retreat alone? What if I decided to go for this retreat and I said, oh, the notice is too short. Don't worry, I will go and learn. When I learn, I will come back and teach them what I learned. Do you think they would have become the leaders that they are today? You see those 3 legs? You see those 3 legs that I took to that first retreat? That 3 leg is settled for life. For life. Those 3 legs, they are settled for life. Can I ask you, what if I had gone for that retreat alone? What if I attended without them? What is the guarantee that they will still be in the business by now? What is the guarantee that they would have grown a successful business by now? What is the guarantee that they would have become leaders by now? There's no guarantee. But when I was taking them to the retreat, I didn't even know that they were going to become leaders. I didn't even know that they were going to hear something that was going to transform their lives. I didn't even know that somebody was going to encourage them to take this business seriously. They heard certain things at that retreat that till today I have never said to them, and I will never say to them. Are you following me now? Are you following me now? There was something one of the speakers said there that till today I have not said to them. But if I had not taken them to that retreat, they would never have heard it. And they would never have made the decision. See, when you leave your teammates at home and you go for a retreat without them, you don't know what they would have heard that you would never have told them for all of your life, that they would have heard in that retreat, that would have transformed their life, and that would have helped them to make a decision, and that would have enabled them to become giants and generals in your business. But you lost out on that because you left them at home. When kings are going to war, when kings are carrying their armies to war, you leave your people at home. They will never get the opportunity to mature into generals that will deliver nations to you. What if I left them at home and I didn't travel with them? We were traveling from Enugu to Abuja. Transport was not funny. We didn't even have the money for transport, but I found a way to make sure that all of us went there. And they heard something. And today they have become my generals in the business. So when we came back and I saw the transformation, and I saw the power of the decision in their eyes, I saw that these guys are no longer ordinary men. I discovered that by taking them to this retreat, something happened. Of course, there are some people here that quit the business. For some of you, we say, the people that I took the other time, they also quit. There are some people who are here right now. They quit the business. They are here. In this picture right now, there are some people that are no longer there. No problem. That's not a problem. But thank God I went with more than one person. So do you know what? When I saw the impact of the retreat, when I saw the power of the retreat in their lives and in their business, guess what? I started teaching them the same thing. I said, listen, whatever you do, right? Whatever you do, never attend the retreat alone. That's what I taught them. I told them, no matter what happens, make sure that you never attend a retreat alone. Every retreat that you have the opportunity to attend, make sure you carry your teammates to the retreat. That was what I taught them. Because I showed them, look at the result. Look at the result. Remember the time I went to 2 people? You people didn't go with anybody. Look at the result. Look at what it has done in my business. So guess what? If you want to have the same kind of result, make sure that every retreat you will have an opportunity. Take everybody in your team to the retreat, and they listen to me. That same year, 2019, there was another retreat in Lagos. The AIM Global Retreat in Lagos, October later that year. 8 months later, there was another retreat. Do you know what? These guys listened to my advice and they traveled for the next retreat with their teammates. They didn't go alone. They did not say, no worry, right? When I come back, we'll just go, we'll go and learn it. When we come back, we'll come and share with them. They came with their teammate. They did not attend alone. They learned what they saw me do. And in the next retreat, they came with their people. This is not all the people, right? This is just the few ones who were able to gather, right? And then from this retreat, they learned what? They learned the secret of generating leaders. That it is what? Exposing your teammates to a body of information, a body of knowledge. Take them to a retreat where they are going to be refired. So in the next retreat, they came with their people. And because they came with their people, the total number of persons that I went to, because everybody is in my structure, everything was over 200. So my next retreat, my first retreat, I went with 7 persons. My next retreat, I went with over 200 and something persons. How was I able to achieve 200 and something persons? I taught my leaders, I taught them to make sure that when they are going for a retreat, they should not attend alone. And by the next retreat, I went with over 200 persons. There are some persons in this picture that are no longer doing the business. They quit the business. But there are some persons in this picture that are still in the business. This was 6 years ago, but they are still in the business till now. So the question I want to ask you is, what if I had attended this retreat with only 1 person? What if I attended this very retreat you are seeing the picture with only 2 persons in my team? People gave me all manner of excuses. They were giving excuses. Lagos is far. The transport is expensive. We cannot pay. We need to pay for accommodation. We need to pay for transport. We are going to pay for ticket. We are going to pay for this. Guess what? Irrespective of the excuses, we kept on helping them to overcome their excuses and their whatever. We kept helping them to solve the problems. And guess what? 200 and something of them followed me to a retreat. Each of my leaders came with their teammates. And when they came there, they caught something. What if it was only John I went with? Maybe it was not even John. Maybe John gave me an excuse and I told him, don't worry. Maybe Bright gave me an excuse and I told him, don't worry. And I carry one of the other guys that has quit the business. What if that was the only person that I went with? But you see, there is safety in numbers. Because I went with a large crowd of individuals, attrition will always happen in business. It will happen. Some persons quit, but because I went with more number of persons, even though some persons quit, some stayed and they are still staying till today. See, I pity you. When there's a retreat and it's only 2 persons you are going with, and your leader is asking you, why is there only 2 persons that have paid for ticket? He said, the rest say they don't have money. I cannot force them now. I am trying everything. I have told them now, if they don't want to go, no problem now. They should just stay. I cannot force anybody. After all, it is their business. I pity you. I pity you. That when you have an opportunity to take your teammates to events, you are the only one that buys ticket, and you shamelessly report the ticket. You tell your leader, he's only 1 person, no, it's only me. All my teammates, they are not willing to go. They don't have the money. We cannot come and kill them. They just paid now. The only person that is available is that person that just paid to sign up into the business. I cannot come and start telling the person to pay 20,000 naira now. The person just tried and got 70,000 naira. Well, well, you will never have the kind of result that I've had. So I taught them. And that is why they started promoting in their business as well. Such that, you see, people will outreach your business. But when you have a habit of pulling crowds to events, let those who will quit. But because you are taking a large number of persons to an event, after those that quit, you will still have people to build with. The people who lose all their teammates are the people who don't attend the retreat with all their teammates. If you gather everybody in your team and you take them to a retreat, some of them will quit, some of them will retreat, but guess what? I can guarantee you some will become leaders. Some. They will not just stay in the business, they will become leaders. That has been my secret. When I noticed, I say, oh, this is the secret. So all these persons that were here, we encourage them. The next retreat, make sure that you don't attend alone. Don't attend the next retreat alone. There was another retreat that same year in Abuja. Right? I don't have that picture here, but immediately after this one, there was another retreat. We were promoting 2 retreats at the same time. Do you understand? You know, some of you, when I look at some of you promoting retreats, some of you are just joking, you are sleeping. He said, I'm carrying people from Lagos. People are coming from Lagos. Lagos to Enugu is very far. Lagos to Abuja is very far. The cost of transportation. Excuse me. From Enugu, we went to Lagos. From Enugu, we went to Abuja. We were promoting 2 events at the same time. So people, my leaders are here now. We were promoting, and each and every one of them will cost us money. So meaning that we were closing down people to pay for 2 different transportation. People were paying for transportation to Lagos. They were paying for transportation to Abuja at the same time. And guess what? Over 200 went to Abuja. Sorry, went to Lagos. 216 or thereabout. In less than 2 weeks from there, we traveled to Abuja again. About 300 leaders, 300 teammates traveled to Abuja. The same people that paid money to travel to Lagos also paid money to travel to Abuja from Enugu. Promoted 2 events at the same time. We closed down people to pay for 2 different destination events at the same time. Your own is only one. You are only promoting one and you are making excuses. Can you see why some of us are where we are? It's only one retreat at once, at a particular period of time you are promoting. And you are here, you are making excuses why your teammates have not paid. You are making excuses why it is only 20 tickets that has been sold. In a team of over 500 teammates, it's only 20 tickets that has been sold, and you are clapping for yourself for one retreat. For 20,000 this thing. You are complaining. Hey, we are coming from Lagos. All of them are shouting. We are coming from Abuja. We are coming from this place. And they say they don't have transport. Sorry, oh, sorry. I promoted 2 different retreats at the same time in 2 different locations. And all of them were from the south. We were moving from Enugu. We were moving from Enugu to Lagos. We were moving from Enugu to Abuja at the same time, within the same month. Both of them were in October. Both retreats were in October. So before you say you want to be like me, you want to have the kind of result, the question is, are you willing to do what I have done? Are you willing to do what I have done? So you see, when I started exposing these guys to this retreat, guess what? The momentum started happening. Guess what? By 2020 January, the next retreat we are going for. You see, because I have also taught the people I took to the next retreat, I told them, listen, do you want to grow in this business? Do you want to have a solid business? Make sure that in the next retreat, carry everybody in your team to the next retreat. They listen to me. They listened to the advice that I gave them. The next retreat was in January. January 20 what? 2020. January 2020. Guess what? Most of them, the people that went with only 15, 10, 20 persons in the previous retreat in October, the previous year. By 2020, they were coming with 100 and something. By 2020 January, John, for the first time, carried up, I think, up to 200 individuals and took them to the next retreat in January 2020. Bright carried over 100 persons and took them to the next retreat. It kept on growing. They kept on growing their retreat numbers. And for the first time in 2020, I carried up to 1,000 teammates to the next retreat. Are you seeing the growth? How am I able to carry 1,000 teammates to a retreat? In Abuja, 98% of us, in fact, 99% of us traveled from outside Abuja for that retreat. How am I able to do that? You see, I've started producing leaders. From a retreat of 7, it has grown to over 200. From over 200, it has grown to 1,000 persons going for a retreat. How is that possible? Leaders are rising. The previous retreats, is giving birth to leaders. And because they are becoming leaders, they are doing what? They are promoting in their teams. They are making sure that they are not attending alone. By 2020, 1,000 teammates have attended a retreat. You want to compete with somebody. Your own retreat, you are trying to promote for is only 2 persons that you can take. What is the highest number of persons you have taken to a retreat? For those of us who are Christians, the Bible says that the steps of the righteous are ordered by God, and that it grows from what? Strength to strength, from glory to glory. Some of you, this year, you are planning to carry less number of persons than you did. See, since I started this business till today, I have never taken less than the number that I did the previous year. Every retreat, every new year, I carry an extra number of persons to a retreat. I am taking you through my process. I am showing you how I've grown. 2020, 1,000 persons were in the retreat. And all of those retreats, we were traveling for it. We will move people from the east to Abuja. We will move people from the east to Lagos. That was how we were moving. We will promote. We will close down. We will help them solve problems. And people will pay for transport. They will pay for accommodation. And 1,000 persons attended. And your own is to just, after everything, 20-something persons. And you want to be like somebody that has carried 1,000 persons to it. You can't compete now. It's not possible. It's an unfair competition. Somebody that has taken or is taking 1,000 persons and you're only taking 50 persons. Some of you, the highest number of persons you have ever taken to a retreat, year after year, is only 10, is only 20, is only 50. When will you carry 100 persons to a retreat? You want to grow? You want to build a successful business? You want to build a business that will last? You want to build a large team? And year after year, you have never taken 100 persons to a retreat? Year after year, you have never taken 50 persons to a retreat. Every year, 5. Every year, 10. Every year, 12. Every year, 13. When they ask you why, and people are signing up into your business. Your business is growing. Your team is growing. But every year is only 13 persons that go from your team. Every year is only 20 persons that go. When your leader asks you, you have excuses as to why they cannot go. They are new. All the people are new. They are new. Who said that new persons cannot attend retreats? You keep making excuses for them. And you are wondering why your business is still at that level. You are wondering why your income is still at that level. So 2020, 1,000 teammates were in the retreat with me. How did I achieve 1,000? Through my leaders. Because I have taught them. I have taught them what has brought me where I am. And they learned it and they copied it. And they are fighting to make sure, right? At a point, each of my leaders were fighting to carry 500 teammates. Each of them were fighting to make sure that 500 teammates attend the retreats. Your own is they are encouraging you for 5 to attend the retreat. And then guess what? 2021, for the first time in the history of our business, 2020 in the history of our team, guess what? We hosted our first event. All these years, we kept on traveling. We were traveling. But because I was traveling with a number, I was traveling with so many persons to retreat. Guess what? By the next year, I was now able to host 3,000 teammates in the city of Enugu. That's my team. 3,000 persons. From 1,000, the next year, it grew up to 3,000 persons. Tell me why leaders will not be produced. Tell me why we don't have leaders on different legs. Do you know why? Because you see, whenever a retreat is coming, do you know what I do? I am promoting for retreat on each of my legs, each of my legs, each of my legs. I make sure that there are people on each of my legs attending the retreat. That's how I promote retreat. I learned it from Dr. Mba. That's how I promote retreat. I look at each of my legs. How many persons are coming from this leg? How many persons are coming? Can I take 100 persons from this leg? Can I take 200 persons from this leg? Can I take 500 persons from this leg? That is how I promote for my events. That's how I promote for retreat. Any retreat, whether it is in Abuja, I keep looking at my leg. I set a target. I said, this leg, I must carry up to 100 persons from this leg. This leg, I must carry up to 50 persons from this leg. I will carry 100 from this leg. I will carry 500 from this leg. I will carry, and that's what I kept doing. And guess what? When I carry those 500 persons from that one particular leg, I carry 100 persons from just one leg. I carry 50 persons from just one leg. I bring them to the retreat. After the retreat, at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 persons will become leaders. They will emerge as leaders. Are you seeing how I've been able to raise leaders? I've been able to multiply leaders on each of my legs. And you think you want to compete with me? You can't compete with me. Right? You can't compete with me. Why? Because this is my secret. I am intentional. I am intentional. So by 2021, 3,000 persons across my legs attended the retreats. Is there attrition? Yes, there was attrition. But guess what? I am not affected. You know why? Because even if after the retreat, 2,000 persons decide to quit the business, I still have 1,000 persons to work with. 1,000 persons that have been exposed to a body of knowledge. Do you know what 1,000 persons can do? 1,000 persons that have caught the vision. 1,000 persons that believe in the vision. 1,000 persons that have decided to pay the price. Do you know what I can do? So that is why I don't even feel the attrition. That is how I've been able to sustain the growth. And of course, the next year, 2022, we had the mid-year retreat. And that was when I was able to max out. 2023, we did another mega event again. 4,000 teammates were in attendance. Are you catching this thing? This is my secret. I multiply leaders. And how do I multiply leaders? I gather people. I make sure that I carry crowd to an event. I make sure that I carry crowd. I make sure that I carry people in hundreds, in different legs. That is how I promote. So some of you, how many tickets have you sold? You have 15 accounts. You have different legs. There are people on each of your legs. And there's a retreat coming up. How many tickets have you sold? 5. How many legs do you have? I have 15 accounts. How many of them have people there? 15 of them all have people. Oh yeah? How come it is only 5 that you have sold? Well, these are the ones that are serious. All the other ones, they are all unserious. You have 15 accounts. You have 15 legs to build. There are people on each of those legs. And you are not giving yourself target. From this leg, I must carry all the 20 people that are here. This leg, 15 must come from here. 5 must come from here. This one must come from here. This one must. You are not even looking at your legs. You are not even promoting. Some of you have certain legs right now that not even one person has paid for a retreat ticket. And you are planning to come. 2026, excel. We die here. We die here. 2026, a leg of yours will die off. Why? Because you did not carry anybody from that leg. Oh my God. See, you must be intentional about how you build this business. How can you have different legs? How can you have different legs with people on each of those legs and you are not planning to carry everybody? See, if you need to go and wake up the dead, wake them up, get them to the retreats. That will be a revival ground for them. That is how I've been able to push my business. That's how in every of my leg per time there is somebody building. Can I repeat it? I said in every of my legs that I have built per time, with all the attrition that has happened, with all the people that have quit the business, I still have people in each leg that are still pushing the business till today. Till today. What is the secret? I started early. I started making sure that every retreat, I must have people, more than one person, more depending on the capacity of that leg. I must carry people from each of those legs. I set targets. Even for Excel, I have targets for Excel. Each of my legs, I know how many persons. I know how many persons I am targeting to take on each of the legs. I don't know about you. Can I tell you something? They will come. They will come for the retreat. Whether you are serious or not, whether you are promoting or not. Why? Because I have raised leaders. I am cutting soap for you so that you will see how I've been able to build. That is how my business has refused to die. You can't kill my business. You can't, nothing can destroy my business. The level where we are right now, there is no amount of attrition that can come and wipe away everybody at once. It's not possible. It can wipe away some, no problem. But guess what? Before you know it, the ones that are remaining, they will build back and they will replenish what has been lost. The secret is that every opportunity that I have, I make sure that I carry people from different legs. I carry people from different legs. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six. I started it from my first retreat. Right now, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. How many persons from each of your legs are going to be attending Excel with you as of today? If the retreat is holding tomorrow, if Excel is going to hold tomorrow, as of today, how many of your teammates from each of your legs are going with you? Let us assume that tomorrow is the date based on the current number of tickets you have sold. If Excel is going to hold tomorrow, how many of your teammates are going with you from different legs? How many of them? Each of your leg, how many persons are you going to take as at today? 4 days to the end of raffle draw ticket. How many persons will you take to the retreat? Some of you have so many legs that not even one person will go. Can I tell you certain truths about this? About this? Listen to me. Those who attend retreats with many of their teammates from long distance, they stand a chance of raising more committed leaders in the business. Can I repeat myself? You see those of you that are coming from a long distance, you have a higher advantage. But you see, that higher advantage is what somebody is trying to make it look as if it is a disadvantage. It is too far. Transport is too expensive. Listen, because you are able to get so many of your teammates to commit their resources to come and learn, irrespective of how far the distance, irrespective of how much they are going to spend, guess what? Their level of commitment is already high. So imagine that you are able to take so many of your teammates. Let's say, for example, you are coming from Lagos. You are able to carry so many of your teammates from Lagos. They are spending more. I think they're the people that are going to spend the highest, right? They are spending much more. They are spending more for transportation. They are spending more for accommodation. They are spending more, unlike the people who are in the Southeast, unlike the people who are in Enugu. Guess what? Do you know what? Because of that, because you have been able to close down more persons to even pay more, guess what? The people who are already paying more, their level of commitment will be higher. By the time they return from that retreat, they cannot play. Why? Because they have made a huge investment to attend that retreat. They've made a huge investment. If you channel them well, if you guide them well, you stand a better chance of raising more committed leaders in your business. So that thing that is looking like a disadvantage, that distance that is looking like a, use it to your advantage. Do you know why I've been able to raise multiple leaders? Because see, I have been able to take so many of them from a long distance. From Enugu, we were traveling to Abuja. We were traveling to Lagos. We were spending so much on transportation. We were spending so much on what? On accommodation. Guess what? I have been able to raise more committed leaders in my business than the people who are in Abuja. Why? Because I came with more number and I came with more number of persons that spent so much. They made higher investments. If you are coming from afar, thank God. Do everything to carry everybody. If you can do that, the level of leaders, the number of leaders you are going to raise in your business in 2026, eyes cannot see. So what about those who are in the host city? Does that mean that you are not going to raise committed leaders? You will raise. But they will not be as committed as the other guys, or at least the number. The number will not be as much. But there's a way you can meet up. If you are building your business in the host city, so let's say, for example, you are in Enugu and Excel is going to be holding in Enugu. The people who are coming from Lagos, the people who are coming from Abuja, the people who are coming from far distances, Ibadan, Benin, and the rest of them, right? They stand a better chance of raising more committed leaders than you, who is in Enugu and you are building your business in Enugu. Yes, that's the truth. Because those people, they are going to be spending more to come. So they have higher investment. They are making more commitment. So their hunger will be higher. Are you following me now? Why? Because, see, they left a long distance to come around. They will not be playing around when they are in the retreat hall. Unlike your people who are in Enugu, do you understand? They can just be gallivanting because it is their city. So how do you counter this effect? If you are in the host city and you are building in the host city, how do you make sure that you don't lose out? The only way to make sure that you don't lose out, if you are building your business in the host city, those in the host city, you need to ensure that 80 to 98% of your teammates in that host city are in attendance so that you can raise committed leaders. So how do you make up? The only way to make up, if you are building your business in the host city of that retreat, make sure how you are going to make sure that you raise committed leaders in your business, like the people who are coming from a distance. You should outnumber them. Do you understand? So if the person that is coming from Lagos is coming with 100 person to Enugu to the retreat, you that is building your business in Enugu, you should make sure that you have nothing less than 300 persons in attendance. That is how you can make up for that shortfall. Do you know why? Do you know why you need to carry over 300 persons? Do you know why you need to carry times 3 the number of persons that the person coming from Lagos is coming with? Let me tell you. You that you have your teammates in Lagos, in Enugu, your people who are in Enugu, they are most likely to be more distracted within the event. As they are in Enugu, their parents will call them, hello, where are you? Where did you keep the house key? I came back to the house, I cannot find house key. Your teammate who is in Enugu, he is in retreat. He will leave the retreat and start going back home to go and show them where the house key is, or to go and open the house for them, because he or she forgot and they came to the retreat with the house key. Why they are still in the retreat? Because they are in Enugu. Are you with me now? Because they are in the whole city. They will call them, how far? Where are you? Where are you? Your child is sick, oh, your child is sick. Something is happening to him or her. Something is happening to him or her. That your teammate will leave the retreat and start rushing back home because they are rushing his child or her child to the hospital. They will leave the retreat. Are you with me now? Some of their friends will call them, how far, where you there? He say, I did MNF. What do they do for MNF? There's one program. Oh, that's even good. I'm even on my way towards that side. When I get there, I will call you. Their friends will come around that place. When they come to the venue, they will call them, how far now? I don't dare Namco. Where are you? Where are you? Your teammate will leave the training that is happening inside and will go and meet his friend that came around Anamco. And the half an hour, how this now? What you they do here now? We are doing one conference. Oh, that your business. Okay. Oh, I just say make I hear you now. Within that period that he left, something tangible has been released in the hall, but he or she was distracted. He or she stepped out. They stepped out. But the person that is coming from Lagos, there is no, but even if that person carried the house key from Lagos and came to Enugu, will he leave the retreat and go back to Lagos just to go and give them house key? They will break the door in Lagos. They will break the door and enter the house. Even if they are rushing their child, do you understand? Even if they are rushing their child to the hospital, right? As loving as they are, because they are in Enugu and their child is in the what? in Lagos, guess what? What will they do? Instead of leaving the retreat, they will call their brother, they will call their sister, they will call their uncle, say, please, so my child is not feeling fine. Please, can you help me go and look after them? Can you help me go and do that? I'm not in Lagos. I'm in Abuja. I'm in Enugu rather. Are you seeing the difference now? Are you seeing the difference now? The same situation, the same terrible thing. But the person who is in Enugu will say, what? They took my child to the hospital and you're expecting me to still be here. I don't understand. I don't. But the same mother, because she's coming from afar, she will call somebody to help her take care of her child. She will call somebody to help her look after her children, irrespective of the same emergency. So do you see why? If you are in Enugu, if you are building your business in Enugu, you need to carry ×3 the number of persons who are coming from afar so that you can also raise committed teammates. And that is why if you are in the host city, if you are in the southeast, if you are in Enugu or in the southeast, let me tell you something. If you don't carry 80 to 98% of your teammates who are building their business in Enugu to this retreat, you have failed. You have failed. If somebody who is coming from outside Enugu, somebody who is coming all the way from Lagos, somebody who is coming all the way from Abuja, somebody who is coming all the way from Benin can come with 100 teammates, can come with 200 teammates. What excuse do you have? Somebody who is building your business in Enugu not to come with 300 teammates. What excuse do you have not to carry 500 teammates? You are in Enugu. You have your teammates in Enugu. They are not paying transport. They are not paying for accommodation. What excuse do you have? If you are in Enugu and you are in the host city, you are in the southeast, and you don't carry 80 to 98% of your teammates to this retreat, you have failed as a leader. You have failed as an upline. You have. Somebody in Lagos is closing down people to pay 80,000 naira, 60,000 naira just to come for the same retreat. You are only closing down people to pay 20,000 naira. Tell me why somebody who is closing down people to pay 100,000 naira, 80,000 naira can still close down more people and carry more persons to the retreat more than you, who is only closing them down for 20 persons. Tell me why. If not laziness, tell me why. If not lack of vision, tell me why. And you're expecting yourself to have the same result with that person. It's not possible. It's not possible. Somebody that comes with 100 teammates from Lagos, will produce more results than you that is in Enugu, and you only came with the same 100. You people are not the same. Oh, you are not the same. Oh, I'm telling you, you are not the same. Don't be deceived. You are not the same. You are in the southeast. You are in Enugu. You carried 100 persons. Somebody is coming from Lagos, from Benin, and is carrying 100. You think you are the same. You are not the same. You are not the same. The result will be different because the other person paid a higher price. The other person did more work. Wake up, guys. So this was what I understood. You see, that is why a lot of people are wondering how far I've grown. See, I was outnumbering people in the whole cities. We were coming from Enugu. Ask John now. We were carrying more number of persons to Abuja more than the people who were in Abuja. Ask Bright. We were taking more number of persons from Enugu to Abuja for retreat more than the people who were in Abuja. No wonder we have left them behind. So can I tell you something, guys, as I begin to wrap up this meeting? In MLM, your teammates need to be refocused and refired every quarter of the year. This business requires constant refiring. For those of you who are saying, but sure, we just came back from Evolve now. We just came back from this. Why are we now still promoting for another day? Listen to me. This business is highly emotional. This business is highly, highly, highly emotional. if you want to build a sustainable business, your teammates need to be refocused. Your teammates need to be refired. You need to make sure that you are exposing them to information every quarter of the year. They should be refired and refocused. You should make sure that your teammates are staying close to the fire. Maximum of 4 months, they must go and listen to something. Maximum of 4 months, they must go and listen to something. So you must do everything to make sure that you are gathering them, that you are exposing them, consistently exposing them. Consistently. That's my best kept secret. And that's how I've been able to multiply leaders. That's how I've been able to multiply leaders in my business. So guess what? Excel is coming. You have another opportunity to expose your teammates to a body of information that is going to give them the chance to become the next level leaders. Excel is providing you an opportunity to multiply leaders in your business. The question is, how many persons are you going to take from each of your leg? How many persons are you going to be exposing to the encounter that will be happening at Excel? Right now, I want you to look at your legs, your different legs. How many leaders, how many teammates are you taking from each of your legs? Are you taking to the next retreat? How many? Some of you are playing around. It is 4 days to the raffle draw ticket. 4 more days to the raffle draw ticket. 4 more days to the end of raffle draw ticket. Some of you are still playing tingo tingo. You have different legs. You have teammates across your legs. But till now, 4 days to the end of raffle draw ticket, it's only 2 persons that are paid. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed, though. Sorry, I'm speaking this way, but it is true. How will you tell me that you want to grow a business and you are not promoting? How do you want to tell me that you want your business to grow in 2026 and you are not promoting? You are not doing everything. You are not carrying people from different legs. You should be ashamed. If I were in your shoe, I want you to ask yourself, if Architect Moses is the leader of this group right now, how many teammates will he take to the retreat? If I'm the one in your shoes, right? Right? If I'm the one in your shoes and I have those your teammates, how many persons would have paid for their ticket by now? I can guarantee you that I would have sold more tickets than you if I were in that your team. With all the excuses, and ticket price is 20,000, we are going to pay this one. I will still sell more tickets. I will still carry more of my teammates to the retreat. It's about your mindset. So can I ask you, how many persons are you going to be taking on your different legs to excel? How many persons have already secured their raffle draw ticket on your different legs? Do you want to multiply leaders? Don't joke with opportunities. Don't joke with events. Don't joke with retreats. That's what I did. And that's how I've been able to multiply leaders on each of my legs. It is 4 days to the end of raffle draw. Raffle draw ticket of 20,000 will be ending this Friday. Just this Friday. We have been talking about it since September. We've been talking about it since September. Since September till now, it's only 2 persons that have paid for tickets. And you tell me you want to become a millionaire? Do you want to become a millionaire in this business? If you want to become a millionaire through this business, you want to build a solid, you must be a serial promoter. You must know what to say to people to move them into action. You must be a serial promoter. You must know how to promote. You must know how to convey the importance of an event that people will be willing to pay the price for it. Stop making excuses. Go and improve your skills on promotion. Go and improve your promotion skills. If I were you, this retreat, I will not leave my teammates behind. I will not. That's what I did. I wasn't leaving my teammates behind. I was going with numbers so that even after those that will quit, I will still have some people to build with. I'll still have some people who will become leaders. That is the secret. There is strength in numbers. There is safety in numbers. The more persons I'm able to expose, After those that quit, I will see how people that will become leaders. How many persons have paid for the ticket on each of? I want you to look at each of your legs. Don't be looking at everything. Some of you, when you look at everything, you see 30, you think you are trying. But when you look at it, some of your legs have not even produced one person. You are not even taking one person. Some of you, even that 30 ticket, 25 is just from one leg. All the other leg is 2. The other one is 1. And you are there clapping for yourself. My friend, do you really want to build a sustainable business? Look at your different legs. How many persons are you taking? So right now, it is operation. I am carrying everybody on my different legs. So this night, I want you to draw your structure. Draw it. Ask yourself, how many persons from this leg are going with me? How many are paid? Write them down. From this leg, how many of my teammates have paid for their ticket? How many of them have paid? Go and find that, then set your target. From this leg, I am going with 50 persons. From this leg, I am going with 20 persons. From this leg, I'm going with 15. This other leg, because of their capacity, I'm going with 5. Then go and start calling everybody on that leg who has not paid. Raffle draw ticket is ending on Friday, this Friday. There will not be an extension. There will not be not even 1 minute extension. I promise you, there will not be. So it's up to you. Do you want to have the kind of result that I've had? Do you want to have the kind of result that I've had in this business? Do you want to grow the large business that I've grown? Do you want to multiply leaders in your business? Make sure that everybody in your team is at the retreat. No matter what it will take. Make sure that everybody is in the retreat. Do that. Make sure that between now and Friday, everybody in your business has paid for their ticket. Whatever is the challenge, help them to overcome the challenge. Help them to overcome. Open their eyes. Communicate the value of this retreat to them. Communicate, paint the picture to them such that 20,000 naira, 100,000, 80,000, 40,000, and no matter the total amount people are going to be spending to come from your location, it will become too small compared to the value they are going to get if all of them come with their teammates. That was what I did. I became very good at promoting the value of the retreat. That's how I was able to take 3,000 persons to a retreat, 4,000 persons seated. That's how my business has become attrition proof. People are quitting. I don't notice it. Why? Because I keep exposing large number of persons. I keep exposing large number of persons. That is the secret. That is, if you want to build a business where you will not feel the attrition is happening, you will not feel it. Make sure that you are taking large number of persons from each of your legs. Wake up and go and start doing the work, guys. It is your job. Some of you, even the ticket that has been sold, it's your leader that is promoting. It's not even you. It's not even you. Come on, guys. If you are in Enugu and you are not, if you are in the southeast, you are in Oka, you are in Abakaliki, you are in Nsukka, you are close by, you are in Onitsha, and you don't carry 80% of your teammates to this retreat, you have failed. I'm telling you the truth. You have. You have. The rest of you that are in Enugu, if you don't carry 98% of your people, you have your teammates in Enugu. Tell me why you have teammates in Enugu and they will not attend retreat that is happening in Enugu. The only reason is because you did not communicate the value to them. Wake up, oh. Go and start promoting. Go and start promoting. You have 4 days. That work you did not do for the past 1 month plus, you are going to do it from now till Friday. But that is if you have the hunger. If you really want to build something that will last, go out and promote. Between now and Friday, make sure that you are carrying multiple persons from each of your legs. That's what you are going to be doing this week, right? So this week, we have 2 assignments we have this week. From now till the end of this month, right? 2 assignments. Number 1 is that we're going all out with massive activities, massive account upgrade campaign, because people need to be recognized, right? So we're going to do the work to generate the codes this week so that we will cross and become star connectors, so that we will cross and become 6-figure earners, so that we'll become Club 500, Amazon ambassador, monthly millionaire. That's what we're doing. All the codes that we need to make sure that we cross. right? And we are recognized. We are generating those codes this week. So we are going all out of massive activities, massive account upgrade campaign, massive follow-ups. That is what we are doing this week so that we can produce the code that is required for you to cross what? Challenge 36 and make sure that you are recognized. The second assignment we have this week is that we are promoting this retreat ticket, this raffle draw ticket, and making sure that 98% of our teammates takes advantage of the raffle draw ticket before it ends, including the people that just signed up today. If you have people that just signed up today, inform them that we have a retreat that is coming up and it is an event of a lifetime. They are very lucky to be signing up now. They are very lucky that they signed up few days before the raffle draw ticket closes. Inform them. They will pay for their ticket. Right? Right? 6-figure earners will be celebrated at the retreat. Yes, but that is after, if you do that for 3 consecutive months, you become a 6-figure earner for 3 consecutive months, you will be celebrated at the retreat. So don't joke with your recognition this month. Don't joke with your recognition in November and December and January. Don't joke. Don't joke. Don't joke. Go all out. Generate the codes. Do everything to make sure that the codes that you need to be celebrated is generated. Inform everybody that is in your business, including the person that signs up today, that the raffle draw ticket is ending on Friday. Let them all take advantage of this. If you are going to do what I've shown you, go and ask the people that have done it. This is not my first time talking like this. Every retreat, this is how I talk. Very passionate. I'm very passionate. Right? The people who keep doing what I teach them, go and see what is happening in their business today. They are building large teams. They are building large businesses. Their business is growing. Do you know why? Because they are multiplying leaders by employing these things that I'm doing, that I'm telling them, that I'm teaching you right now. They are deploying these things that I'm teaching you right now. They've done it in their business. Today, they've grown a large business. So I know what I'm talking about. It has happened for me, and it is happening for people. It can happen for you. Go and make sure that your teammates do what? Take advantage of this what? Raffle draw ticket. I hope I've communicated enough. I hope my shouting tonight is not in vain. I hope it is not in vain. I hope I've been able to speak to somebody. I hope I've been able to open the eyes of somebody to understand the secret, how you can multiply leaders in your business. I hope I've helped somebody today to move their business 1,000 times forward. Go and multiply leaders. How do you do that? Make sure that you have so many persons on each of your leg going for this retreat. With this, my friends, I will bring this meeting to a close, right? Next week, Monday, is going to be another powerful round of value, right? Of value that will be coming your way. Make sure you don't miss the next class on Monday by 7 p.m. Same channel, right? Same channel. All right. So make sure you're here next week, Monday, right? And then, of course, tomorrow is another millionaire school. That's Star Team Millionaire School. It is dubbed an hour with the freedom, right? By 8 p.m. tomorrow, make sure that you are connected. If you are here, you've not gotten your ticket, make sure you do that because the time is ticking. If your teammates have not gotten their ticket, make sure they do that because the time is ticking, right? Right? The time is ticking, all right, guys? So I will see you next week, Monday again. God bless you and have a very fruitful week. Go and do the work. Go and generate the code. Make sure that you are celebrated, right? Make sure that you are recognized by the end of this month. And then go and make sure that everybody in your team takes advantage of the raffle draw ticket because from Saturday this week, the ticket price will no longer be the same amount. And even if you pay 30,000 naira, you will still not be able to be part of the raffle draw, right? So if you pay from now to Thursday, you will get it cheaper. And then number 2, you will also be part of the raffle draw. And you stand the chance of winning wonderful gifts, wonderful, wonderful gift. God bless you and good night, everyone. See you next week, Monday.